interesting thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Film community, heart,
This is another great episode of the Film Review. What's going on, people?
Hey, happy Mother's Day.
How you doing? Happy Mother's Day to everyone. This is the Film Review.
Yes.
Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We are the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
I'm Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And do we have a great show for you today?
We have a great show today with special dedication to our moms, Juanita, Gloria, and also dedication to Joyce, all wonderful mothers who are no longer with us. And a special happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there. The show is dedicated to you all.
That's right. It is dedicated to you. Mother's Day.
Yeah.
You know, I owned a store for 15 years and I met with many different people. Blue collar, white collar, you name it. Let me type this in real quick. Film.
Oh yeah, we did. We had we've interacted with a lot of like great moms of all ages, of all nationalities. Purchasing music and stuff and magazines and just.
But there was one time when a person came in and he was telling me that he didn't celebrate Mother's Day anymore, and I was like, why not? He said because it's too hard, and he kind of has envy or jealousy towards people who have still have their parents, and I was like, that's interesting. You would have envy and jealousy towards those who.
His mom had passed.
Yeah, his mom had passed.
Okay.
And so, it was interesting to me, and so I, as I talked to him, but so that feeling, not so much envy or jealousy, because I've never been an envy or jealousy person, but it's just that since my mom is gone, Mother's Day doesn't mean anything anymore to me. You know what I mean? It's like, you move on and you just say, hey, that's it,
So that's how he felt then, right?
Yeah, he felt that, but he said he felt a little envy or jealousy towards people who still had their moms, and I didn't understand that part of it, but I can understand the feeling that it just doesn't mean that much. The Film Review.
What stands out to me is the one customer whose mother was across the street. We had a hospital across the street. Yeah. And his mom, was dying at the time, and to be able to be like a comfort to him, as well as many other customers who lost their moms, and just being able to be there for them and give them support is what sticks out. Yeah,
but it's like I do have a understanding. I see you never really have the understanding of something until you walk in that person's shoes. People can always tell you it gets better. Only people who actually lost their mother can actually say that it gets better, or because there's nothing really much that you can say to people who have lost their mothers, but that it'll get better. It's the old cliche things, but guess what?
Yeah, that's not true.
It gets less
manageable.
Yes, it gets less in your face. But it's still those things where you'll smell a
connection,
or you'll smell a perfume scent. It's just like that. It's something like that that will happen, that will, just twist your head. But saying that, our mothers were great.
Yes, wonderful.
Great women. My mother always told me, she said that my job is to get you from off or under the feet, off or under the foot of people.
Right.
And then once I get you up from off of there and I instill in you everything that I can, then it'll be on you to make a decision. But I'm not going to throw you out there to the wolves as a young person.
Right.
I'm just not going to do that. That's what my mom told me. Thanks to all the people who are coming in and watching.
Yes.
We're talking about mothers, and you see the description on what we're going to be talking about tonight. But my mom told me, I want to get you off from under the foot of people. And once you're there, then it'd be up to you to make a decision. But I'm not going to throw you to the wolves. And I think that's the greatest greatest thing that a parent can do.
Are there many parents like that still today?
I don't know. It's a circumstance. See, I look at it and I say that there are certain circumstances that are still put here. When you learn that we're in this system, and when you're in the system that we're in, that we're under, all relationships could be better than what they are. All situations would be better than what they are if we were not under this system. So there's certain dynamics and certain obstacles placed in people's way that keep them from being the fully imagined human being that they should have been, and thus they can't bring about other human beings that will be their full selves, because we're under this system. So if anything is good, it could be a lot better or greater, and things that seem bad, there's a root to why it is that way. So,
And a special Mother's Day to all of the, because I have friends who are also wonderful foster mothers.
Yeah.
Or as my one friend says, she texted me.
Get the right.
I have to get the
out.
terminology, and she reminded me that, which is true, that it takes a village, and that she doesn't consider. She said, well, not to say Happy Mother's Day to her, but to say Happy Tui Day. And so she's not the mother to her foster children, but they get like a Tui. Like, she's not the number one, but she's the number two, and she's there too. She's part of the village to help with the children and to help them grow into wonderful adults, right from, well, they're young girls now, but to grow up into little nice young ladies and young adults, and to help grown women to be helped. She's part of that village. So she told me Happy Tui Day, and happy, to say that to her, and Happy Tui Day to her. She's a wonderful Tui.
So like I always say to people who still have their moms, hug your mom for me. Always value your mother, because one day she will be gone, and all of those disagreements that came from youth or not understanding exactly what was happening at the time because you were youthful, all of those disagreements and things really amount to nothing, especially if the person is really trying to make sure that you are not taken advantage of. Because there's some people who don't have moms, right? And even
I had a friend, she lost her mom when she was 1, so she
never knew her mom,
right?
So that automatically puts the person into a situation where who's gonna love you more than the person who brought you to this planet. You know what I mean? Who's gonna love you more than that person?
And then a happy Mother's Day also to the wonderful grandmothers who raised their grandchildren, the wonderful aunts and grandfathers also, and the wonderful aunts who helped raise their nieces and nephews as if they were their own, wonderful godmothers. I mean, it's just so many people who help, with the village, So happy Mother's Day to everyone. Although you may not literally be, the title mother, happy Mother's Day to you, happy Godmother's Day, And I got my godmother text, and my niece told me happy Mother's Day. She said, well, no, you're more like my mom. So for all of you, out there, mothers and aunts and grandmothers and cousins and godmothers, just everybody.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's
Day. As we continue to populate here. So we have a big announcement. The film review, we do the film review,
right.
Music review show. Of
Right.
course, we do the film review,
Right.
movies, music, culture, politics, and society podcast.
Right.
And we have a new show that we just started, and we're already on the coming up on the 5th episode.
Right.
But it's called the Film Review
Right.
on the Road. That's where we interview people that affect the culture.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Anything and everything that affects the culture. So we're on 5 episodes already that you can go see globally through the YouTube on your smart TV and your Roku devices. You can go and download the YouTube app on your smart TV and your Roku devices, and you can see us in your city, in your state, in your town. I'm trying to figure out why we're hearing gunshots, but it's okay.
Oh, they're celebrating.
They're celebrating. They're celebrating something. We don't know what they're celebrating. It's not the 4th of July.
Well, it's a pool party celebration going on.
Sounds like Little Vietnam.
The children are having fun today.
Sounds like Little Vietnam. But anyway, listen. So, we're on 5 episodes of the Music Review on the Road show. And the first one we open up with is interviewing Larry Smith from G5 Cultivation.
Right.
Talking about the cannabis situation. And then the next that we do, we have the exclusive tour of Hardin Dispensary in Las Vegas. We have the exclusive. Then we have the interview with Cameron, Killer Cam, and he talks about his color his color pink, and he also talks about his strand of cannabis that is being developed by none other than G5. Then we have the 4th episode, and now we have the 5th episode coming, which is the exclusive interview of Vaughan Mason. Now, for those who...
That was a great interview.
Yeah. For those who don't know who Vaughan Mason is, maybe you don't read credits, but he's the one who created the song Bounce, Rock, Skate, Roll.
Right.
Roll, bounce, right?
Right.
So he's the one that created that. And he's... he sits down with us and he gives us an in-depth interview, and it is a must-watch interview because he gives the blueprint. He gives the blueprint to how to make a hit record. Hey, what's going on, Shanine? Thanks for chiming in and watching.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yep, we just finished talking about Joyce and our mothers.
Yes.
And everything.
My godmother, Joyce.
That's right.
Was wonderful, wonderful.
And so Vaughan Mason talks about how to make a hit record. Must watch for interviewers, for musicians and for artists who want to know a formula, right? So I mean, it's must watch. It's just great. It's just great, great stuff, really. So that comes up on the 15th, and coinciding with that, because we're celebrating, that is the deadline for episode 2 of the film review music review show for you to get your MP3s and your videos in. Send them to lordlandenterprises@hotmail.com. That's lordlandenterprises@hotmail.com, and we will listen and get you in there and get your song reviewed, and you'll be up alongside some of the most jamminest songs that should and will be in film, independent film, and Hollywood movies. That's right. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let me keep on populating. So we went to the movies. Yes, we did.
Yes.
And we went to go see the Intruder movie.
Yes.
Did you see that movie yet?
Yes. Well, first of all, when we was setting up, okay, what movies are we going to review? And I said, okay, Mother's Day is coming. And my mother was like a huge film person. I think that's why I am the way I am. So she loved films. Loved it. And like it passed on to my niece and nephew. They love films too.
Yeah.
So
I want to see the real thing.
Yeah, they love films. So I was like, okay, so it's a couple of films out. And I'm like, what would she go and see? So Intruder. She would want to go see the movie with Meagan Good and Michael Ealy. So I said, hey, I'm going to go see this film because I know this is something she would want to go see. And she definitely, just like we weren't, disappointed at all.
Okay, well, let's go through it.
Thumbs up.
Let's go through it.
Okay.
Let's go through it.
Well, okay, well, starring, of course, Meagan Good and Michael Ealy. And let's see, great cast. Dennis Quaid. And
he's a crazy in this picture.
Yeah.
I just tell you, that's what I'll say about that. So listen.
He does a great job, a great acting job, because I was convinced.
So my question was, is it worth the ticket, and will it keep you on the edge of your seat?
Definitely.
From beginning to end.
Yeah, it will. Right. Definitely. And then also starring in the film Joseph Sikora, known as Tommy from Empire.
Yeah.
And we was just like,
so we're gonna lightweight give just a few spoilers. Right?
But definitely it's worth going. It's not like what you think it is. It's so much more. Like the trailer doesn't give it.
It doesn't give it justice. Just what it really
so
is.
It was a great. It was a good film.
It's a good film.
Yeah.
It's a great film. Okay. So Dennis Quaid,
right,
playing this character. He's a crazy. But I mean, it's like the way it's written, the audience can already see that something's not wrong with this man. That something's wrong with this man, right? But the wife,
the warning signs are there. The wife,
however, of Meagan Good's character just cannot see that there's something wrong with this guy. Like,
yeah, because first of all, well, the movie's about a young married couple. They buy a beautiful home on several acres of land, only to find out that the man they bought it from refuses to let the property go. So that's just like just a little bit, but just so much more. So
he refuses to let the property go.
Shanine says, my mom and Javante are the same way. Movie fanatics. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there and you're watching the film.
Yeah.
And so it opens up. You open up and it opens up and you see Tommy. You see a car driving down the New York street. No, California. They're in California streets because they're They go to the vineyard, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So
it's in Napa Valley.
Napa Valley. So you see them driving down the street real fast, and then next thing you know, you're introduced to the characters in the car. Tommy, I'm just gonna call him Tommy. Tommy is driving, and what's his face? Ely is in the passenger seat, and he says, "What you doing? Trying to kill us? Why are you moving so fast?"
Right.
So really, what it is there's a surprise party, right? So after the surprise party, Ely tells Ely's character asks Meagan Good's character if she still wants to move out to Napa Valley.
Right.
So they go out to Napa Valley and they see the house. So you've seen the previews
the
of
trailer.
that. So you know that's no big spoiler miss or anything like that, right? So so they go and you see this happening, right? And so they go there, they see the house, and then it's something about it. The Ely's character knows that this is not right.
Something don't seem right.
Good's character is just in love with the house, and she's like talking to Dennis Quaid's character like down home. It's like they have an understanding. The first thing that happens is something that's so shocking that you would just want to get in the car and leave already, because the guy has a rifle in his hand, and you're like, what the heck?
I mean,
is
the
this?
warning signs were all there before the people even signed the contract to get the house. I mean, it's like all the warning signs is there, and then Michael Ealy does such a great job, because you just all like can tell he's like turned off from the house, turned off from Dennis Quaid. He's just like
automatic,
not happy with it at all. You can just tell, you know. So I mean, this film is just like really, really good, and just like for Shanine out there. So Meagan Good, she's wearing a birthstone, and then Dennis Quaid,
emerald.
asked her about it, and this emerald. She said, "Oh, it's my birth month, right? Birthstone."
And then she said, "They don't really tell you what sign it is.
She is. Like, is she a Taurus or is she a Gemini?
But they say that's a good sign. Yeah, that's a good sign. So automatically that draws her in more. So she keeps leading this guy on, people. That's all I can say. Throughout the whole picture, it's like she's leading this guy on. It's like he comes over.
She was being really sweet.
No. He was supposed to be gone.
So just so the film review member out there, Shanine, knows, I just immediately said to him, okay, so birth month, Emerald, okay, she was born in May. I said, but she's a Gemini. And I said, because she was so sweet and she just kept giving him a chance after chance. And I told him, I said, no, because the Taurus would have immediately been like, no.
No, I said it was a Taurus.
No, he said
it was a Taurus because a Taurus is beyond nice.
Oh, look at Shani says she's a Taurus. No,
because the Taurus is beyond nice and don't want to hurt people's feelings.
No.
And the Gemini would be like, yo.
I said she's the Gemini.
You know, and then this dude, and the reason why I know it's Taurus is because he was so stubborn and just didn't want to go. He didn't want to give up the house. I was like, dang, what's going on, man?
Oh, so who was stubborn? You were saying
he was stubborn because he just didn't want to give up the house, and then she was stubborn. Okay. She didn't want to. She didn't want to go look at nothing else. Yes, he said. They said the emerald. Me too. That's my birth sign.
Well, you can't go by that. He was crazy in the film.
I mean, but listen. All I know is an Intruder.
The house was lovely.
No, the house looked like crap. That's how I know. That's how I know that she was a Taurus. But see, because it was so nice. But anyway, listen. So, she just kept leading this guy on like her husband wouldn't be home,
She says, "I'm with D."
Here comes this dude knocking on the door, bringing a pizza. You're in a bath towel, right? Now the audience is privy to some things that you haven't seen. Now you kind of seen in the trailer, but he's in the house looking at Meagan Good take a shower.
And I'm like, are they oblivious? Like, he's literally like
he's watching
physically
and
in the house, and they're not like seeing him watching them. I'm like, you don't see him standing right in the corner watching you.
Let me tell you something. He was getting ready to take his clothes off. He had took his shirt off.
Well, don't
he
tell
was
the movie.
He was getting ready to go in. He was getting ready to go in.
But
he was getting ready to go into the shower. And does she get away? You have to go see. He was licking on her. Now come on.
But the thing is,
the
good thing
because she was leading him on.
No,
she was leading him on.
The good thing about
she said, "I'm a country girl like you."
The audience participation was like great. Like, it was a diverse audience, right? So it was just like everybody was making comments and screaming and yelling and laughing.
Don't do that.
Yeah, everybody was chiming in. You know, I had
an
older white couple sitting like beside me. They was just like, "What?" and just commenting in. It was a black woman that she sat a couple of rows ahead of you, and she was just like, "What the heck?" You know. So it's just like everybody was interacting. Hi, Gail.
Hey, thanks for chiming in, Gail. Listen,
but it's a great film.
Wait a minute.
It was a great film.
He not only took his shirt off, people.
But you can't.
And standing there, he only took his shirt off. He licked her, but he also hog-tied her. Can you believe it, people? He was licking her and hog-tying her.
Have to go
she was in the shower. He had his shirt off.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's some cuts when they show you in the trailer where they show you that he was like totally full Monty.
Yeah, so they show the
stuff.
You know, you see a lot of this in the trailer, but the trailer does not do
the film
Intruder justice at all.
It really does.
Like, the acting is great. Like the Meagan Good, Michael Ealy, Dennis Quaid. I mean, they really, really, really brought it. And like some of the stuff that's done in the film, it's not predictable. You know, some films are predictable.
It's not.
It's not. You're like, what the heck? You didn't expect that. Stuff will come from the right and the left, and you're like, I didn't expect that to happen.
The filmmaker gives the audiences clues to what's going on.
Yep.
But there's certain tight, close-in crop shots that you like, where is he actually at? Because he was supposed to be leaving.
Well, don't.
He was supposed.
There's one part you know not to tell.
He's supposed to be leaving,
and it just dragged
and he kept coming back. It's Thanksgiving.
It's like
then it's Christmas.
It's like, weren't you supposed to be gone?
And let me tell you something. What's the guy's name who plays Tommy again? What's his name?
Joseph Sikora.
I call him. Who does he look like?
Hey, Kayla.
Hey, thanks for chiming in, Kayla. He looks like.
Gail and Kayla, happy Mother's Day. If you guys are moms.
He reminds me of Danny Kaye.
Kayla's mom, happy Mother's Day.
He reminds me kind of a Danny Kaye character, right?
Oh, yeah, he does.
And so he's like the replacement. You know, like Hollywood, they have replacements for people. Like they say Queen Latifah is the replacement for Ethel Waters. Yeah. You know, just people who happen to look like other people. And so he plays this part, and at first when you see him on screen, you think of him as Tommy.
Yeah,
right?
you do.
So, you know, automatically being on that, on Power, it automatically makes you, you know, think of him as Tommy. But however,
you soon forget about Tommy because his acting is
because he's a totally different person. Plus, if you saw the one show that TBS canceled, what was the name of that show? About the slaves, and they had Harriet Tubman on there.
Oh, The Underground.
Excellent show. It, you know, the characters go to the ether now because they canceled it. Yeah. But he plays a Irish peddler of some kind. Remember, he plays that, so automatically when you see that, he was a totally different character. In this one, he still had his hair cut the same. Yeah. Obviously, he was probably cutting Power at the same time. Right. But his tone, his slang, it's just regular. He's just a regular person.
Gail and Kayla, we're talking about the film The Intruder. Excellent film. If you haven't seen it, you guys have to go see it.
Right. So, he's a totally different guy.
Yeah.
And he's put into a precarious position where I ask, why did he do that? That's what I'll say. But let me tell you, people, Dennis Quaid was looking at Dennis Quaid's character was looking. Let's get the character names real quick. Okay. Dennis Quaid's character was looking at Meagan Good's character in the shower, bucket naked, took his shirt off, took his bottom off, and he was licking her and he hog-tied her.
No.
People, you have to see this film to believe it. No. He is just total violation and to the fullest. The question is, does he get away with it? Does it keep you on the edge of the seat? Yes. People were in the theater. Let me tell you something. People were in the theater. Listen. Wait a minute. People are in the theater talking about, what are you doing? I'm sitting up there stupid. I heard throughout the thing, stupid.
Yeah, people were really
it was like, this is just stupid. Yeah, I'm a country boy. Oh, I'm a country girl. What are you talking about?
Glenn.
Hey, what's going on, Glenn? Thanks for chiming in.
You know what? This film is a film.
The Intruder. Listen.
This film is one film that I would like to have had like cameras like on the audience, because the audience interaction with the screen and the participation was off the chain. It was just amusing hearing everyone's comments during this film.
Again, for people chiming in, happy Mother's Day for all those
who are mothers and aunts and godmothers and grandmothers.
Still have their moms. Yeah. Like we always say, hug your mom for me, because we no longer have our mother, so it's very important that you do that. Yeah. And we talked about that. So when you do the replay, you know, you can see that. But listen, let me say again, people. What's Dennis Quaid's character's
You know what?
name?
I can't think. It's giving their real names, not the character's name.
Okay. So
but
Dennis
I know
Quaid,
Megan was Annie.
Annie, right. And then Dennis Quaid's character.
It's crazy.
Is watching her in the shower, bucket naked.
They show that in the trailer.
She's taking her. He takes his shirt off, takes his bottoms off, and he's licking her and he's hog tying her in the picture. People, Michael Ealy, you know what I'm saying? Where is he? He's at work. He went to go get some drinks. He comes in with the pizza and the wine, and you know he comes in with wine and pizza. Different times. He was leading.
Are you exaggerating?
She was leading this man on. That's what I could say. I could say because he believed.
She was not leading that old man on.
He believes that he has a second chance to have another chance at love.
He is clearly mentally ill in this film, so that's why the audience was just like amazed that her husband, Michael Ealy's character, clearly saw that he was mentally ill, but Megan just didn't see that this man was mentally ill until it was too late.
Michael Ealy's character tells the guy, he says,
he dogs him throughout the whole
film. He says,
says,
now you've seen this in the trailer, so this is nothing. He tells him, quit coming by the house.
Over and over.
This is not your house. And every day he's popping up. Matter of fact, I'm just saying, every day he
and the best
just
friend,
pops up.
His best friend, played by Joseph Sikora, doesn't even like Dennis Quaid, and then his wife, that like nobody likes Dennis Quaid, but poor sweet Megan, she feels sorry for
That's
him.
right. Thanks, Shani. Dennis Quaid is named Charlie.
Thank you, Shani. Oh yeah.
So he says Chuck, and he slaps him on his face. Says, "Quit coming by the house," right?
And Charlie just keeps coming.
I mean, this is just a situation
knock
where
on the door. The people in the audience. There goes Charlie.
You know, my mom always told me that that in a situation where if you have an attractive person, what good is having a person if they're not attractive? So if you have an attractive person and the person comes out, let them have a chance to handle it. And then once they handle it, if the person doesn't move on, then it's time for you to step in and then handle it. However,
he tried.
No, wait a minute. She wasn't handling it because she said, I feel sorry for him. She was a little. She was almost. I swore that she was almost looking at him like Zaddy. I swear.
Was not.
I swear that she was almost looking at him like Zaddy. What's going on to Frank White? He just joined the watch party.
Yeah.
She was almost looking at him as Zaddy.
But you have to go see. So how would you rate it?
Wait. Let me say it again. Let me say it again so it'll be clear. Meagan Good's
you really like
character,
this film, as you can see.
Meagan Good's character, she was wearing tight jeans throughout the whole film. If she wasn't in tight jeans and she was in a robe, if she wasn't in the robe,
okay, but she was minding her own business.
If she wasn't in a robe, she was in a towel when the guy knocked on the door. And then Charlie had a big old pizza box a couple of days before he had brought wine.
With flowers.
And then flowers. But listen, and then before that. But anyway, so they knock on the door.
Really,
she's in a towel.
More in this film that
she's in a towel.
Talking about, so you have to go
she's
see
in a
it.
towel when he comes to the door.
You see that in
with
the
pizza,
previews,
right? So it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You just leaving this guy. Then instead of saying taking the pizza and saying thank you and close the door, this is inappropriate.
She looked at him as a father figure.
She looked like Zaddy. I said it. I said she looked at him like Zaddy. That's why you have to go see
this film.
So look. So instead of saying, okay, thank you, close the door, weirdo. See, I'm in the towel. She said, she invites him in. Next thing you know, she's sitting down in her pajamas, eating pizza, drinking wine. Like, what's really good?
But you know what?
Yes, Frank White, you do have to see this film. Let me say it again. Let me tell you, Meagan Good's character is leading this guy on.
And you know what?
Let me tell you.
Clearly, this is a good film.
No, let me tell you something.
I've never seen him this animated.
Let me tell you. I want to tell you this again because this is very clear. She is leading this guy on. He comes there. He says, "Hey, would you like me to help you do this?" "Oh, sure, because you know, my husband won't do it because he's away." And then and then he says, "Well, let me bring some wine." So then he brings the wine. Then she says, "Oh, would you like something to drink? Why not open the wine?" And then he comes there. She steps out the shower. She comes out of the shower. She thinks she hears something in the house. She's walking down the steps. Then boom, 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 boom. And then it's like she skirts. She could have dropped the towel or something because she just had it wrapped up. And then she opens the door while she's in her towel.
Well,
she's leading them on. And he was like, she was in these tight jeans. Anyone who knows Meagan Good, right? Who really knows Meagan Good? Meagan Good is shaped well, and she's in these tight jeans, and she knows that the man is looking because he knows that Charlie the Chucker molester is looking, right? And so he's looking, and she's there, and then she's in the town. He said, "Come in, I gotta go upstairs and change." He could just imagine her changing, because like I said, he was standing at the shower watching her bucket naked in the shower, people. And then he took his shirt off, took his bonds off. He's standing there like ready really to go into the shower. And then does he do it? But I can tell you, he was watching her in the shower. And
he's like a father.
He licked her.
Hi, Artisha.
He licked her and he hog-tied her. Now you tell me what's going on with the picture.
But the film, the trailer does not do it justice. So definitely,
you know what?
Go and see it.
So the intruder. Let's break down the acting.
Yes.
Dennis Quaid going from, because the audience. It's one of those films where you can see something's wrong, but obviously the people are oblivious. The other two characters are oblivious.
Husband was not oblivious.
He was like, he really didn't like the house.
Or Dennis.
Right. No, he didn't like Charlie.
Right.
After they got into the house.
Well, before they moved in, he didn't like Charlie.
He didn't like the way the house. He's like, this is kind of like. It was kind of like milk toast. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like what they call mayonnaise. He was looking at the house like, I don't know about this, right? So then he starts talking, but Meagan Good is totally oblivious to the fact. So, but Dennis Quaid, his acting of being subtle, kooky, to all the way cracked, excellent. He arcs in this film.
He does.
I give him a
The
10.
acting,
right?
you can see it like step by step.
You can see it step by
where
step.
when you first see him, he seems normal, and then it's like mentally,
But
he
it's something
starts
there.
cracking. Like, and you visually, you can see this in his
And
face.
you've seen this in the trailer, so this isn't
Yeah.
a thing where he says, I lost my wife. You know what I'm saying? They show you in the trailer, it might not be something like that. So he seems a little, and then all of a sudden Meagan heart for Zaddy. Her character's heart for Zaddy just
So his
falls
acting
in.
was good, and then of course Michael Ealy's acting was
Ealy
Yeah.
as the professional
yeah.
who may have had some baggage in the past.
Yeah.
And
you
then
learned
coming
about that in the
forward and
film.
trying to
Yeah.
be the man that he's supposed to be,
Right.
and he's the top of the advertisement firm,
Right.
but at the same time he's dealing with this and having to travel all these miles back and forth
from the city
back to Napa Valley, Napa Valley back to the city.
Yeah.
And you see this, and he's like, "What's going on?" And my wife can't handle it.
Yeah.
So he arcs.
Yeah, we talked about
Because
that.
he has something where he sees something happen that's
Yeah.
traumatic in his youth,
Yeah.
and when he sees Dennis Quaid with the rifle,
Yeah.
it's like, yo,
Yeah.
I don't like this.
He
kid.
goes from
You know what I
being
mean?
having a calm demeanor to like
I mean, he takes it
Yeah.
up and he moves it.
Yeah.
His arc is good. Now,
Meagan
Meagan
great.
Good
Her
as
acting
the traditional
naive.
ditzy.
She wasn't ditzy.
She was the naive, ditzy female.
Yeah.
Ooh, poopy doo, walking around in her
Her
tight
acting
jeans.
was
You know
great.
what I mean? Walking around in tight jeans.
But
This
she
is the-
arcs too at the end. Now.
Yeah, she arcs at the end.
Yeah.
Because she finally starts to believe
Starts
what her
snapping
husband is telling her.
Yeah.
Her husband telling, "Oh, really? No, because he's just a country boy and I'm a country girl."
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a
Zaddy.
great film. So what do you like the?
Okay. So the
light.
acting we already gave that a 10.
Superb.
Those three, right?
Yeah.
Tommy, I just call him Tommy.
Yeah,
right?
from Ghost. Joseph Sikora.
That's right. His acting is a 10, right? As a supporting cast member, 10, right?
Yeah.
The cinematography,
Beautiful.
showing you where it is, where the house is, showing you the house, showing you
The house was a character in this film.
Yeah,
also.
house is a character in the film because it shows you its large yards, how it leads to back roads, and how you can see. Like, have you ever noticed, like, when you see people, like people who live in homes that are like they don't have sidewalks, how they never have any drapes on their houses, and you're like, you used to. There's a place in Cleveland called Shaker Heights. And Shaker Heights were where, some of the more affluent people lived. And as you're driving down the street, you're like, yo, they don't have any drapes, no blinds, no nothing on their houses. And so they show you this. You can look right into the house. So as Meagan Good was walking around,
feel like they need drapes after what happened in this film.
Yeah, you need drapes all throughout the whole, just the whole house.
Crazy Charlie could see everything from the outside.
Yeah, and then Meagan Good walking around in her towel. I mean, and poop, we do, but anyway, Meagan Good's character, that is.
Yes.
So, the whole cinematography 10.
Yeah.
The
music
the
was great.
structure of how they told the story.
It was great.
How they use flashbacks to tell the story, how the onion is pulled back to expose what's really happening. Beautifully done.
Yep.
The dialogue in the piece, beautifully done. The suspense in it, right? And it's actually a suspense romance because the husband and wife truly do love each other, but she's just not. It's not just not there.
She underestimated Charlie,
and the audience is like, "What? What?
Yeah, the
what are you doing?
crazy.
What? Stupid, stupid!" And so, So what would you rate the film?
I would give it a 10. The music was like great. It was on point. Like, I mean, Isaac Hayes soundtrack. You hear some
you hear it in
Tank, and I mean, just like as well as other artists. It was just like nice soundtrack. The music was great. The music fit every scene. Good film, really good.
Listen,
definitely go see it.
I have to give it a 10.
Yeah,
it is well worth seeing.
Better than I thought. Way better than the trailer.
Yeah, way better than the trailer. Because I thought it was gonna be like some of those just other low budget type of films that they kind of pushed in the theater. Did you see that film that was all shot in blue?
What?
I mean, it was a gospel movie, and then all the main acts came up, and I was like, they need to do something about this blue tint. That just isn't quite hitting. But anyway,
this film was great. I like this film better than Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, I think it was. It moves, and then when the closing climax happens, it's no need to go any further, people. So go see The Intruder, starring Meagan Good
and Michael Ealy and Dennis Quaid.
Because it will have you on your seats. It is worth the ticket price. Matter of fact, take a group with you to go see the film. Just
hilarious. I mean, it was great. It's scenes where you're just cracking up laughing, and just scenes you're like, oh my gosh, it was good.
Now we told you May 15th is the cutoff date for the film review, music review show. Also, the debut of the Vaughan Mason exclusive interview where he drops the blueprint on how to make a hit, right? But the day before, on May 14th, is the new documentary executive produced by LeBron James, directed by
also executive producer Antoine Fuqua.
Okay, right. It's called Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
My name is Muhammad Ali, right?
HBO.
And it's coming out on HBO.
Yeah. Looking forward to
finally a story about Ali that's told from the vantage point of from the people that he comes from.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Too often you see like the Ali movie, for instance, Will Smith starred in.
Acting was great.
The acting was great. Everything, cinematography, all that was great, but it was just surface level because it could not dip in. Why was he so upset when Malcolm X was assassinated? Because their relationship wasn't flushed out in the film, because European Americans are only on the surface level. They can't travel in, right? And so and if Spike Lee had shot the film, it would have been just as good, but it would have took you into the mind of what it was to be a ADOS or a Black American during the civil rights movement when Ali came to prominence, right?
Like Spike Lee after X, I'm like sitting in the theater crying. Like Spike really had me feeling like,
I mean, like
I knew.
I remember when we went to go see X.
Yeah.
And we sat there and we looked, and I'm like, people are crying. And I turned and looked at my wife, and she was crying. I was like, what?
Everybody in the theater crying.
I was like, people in here crying. I heard people because Spike Lee took you through Malcolm's whole life, like you knew him, right? And then when the Audubon Ballroom happens, and they're just blasting him and filling him full of holes, it's like your family member exited then. And so you're turning there, you're looking, and you're like, what? And I'm like, what? Later on, as I watched it again, I was like, oh man, that's bad,
And Malcolm X's birthday is coming up, May 19th.
Shanice said we need to tell our own stories. This is true from our vantage point. And so people, and that's what's good about The Intruder, is that it is financed by a Black finance company.
Yes, it is.
And written, produced, directed, edited by a Black production team.
Yes.
And so, there's a difference to it. That's what makes it so good. It's not someone in there saying, well, we can't say this and we can't say that. Because let me tell you something. When Dennis Quaid was licked, what was the end? Or how is it going to end? You got to go see it. Dennis Quaid was licking her and had her hog tied. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know what?
All right. So 10 on that. So
Great.
On May 14th is My Name is Ali,
Yeah.
LeBron James.
Yeah,
Fuqua.
looking forward to seeing that.
On May 15th again is the deadline to submit MP3s or videos for or both for the film review, music review, April 30th. May 30th show for the second episode of the film review, music review show. And then the 15th is also the day that we debut Vaughan Mason.
Yes.
The exclusive interview where he tells musicians and artists how to make hits. It's a must watch for people now. So it's a lot of things going on in May. Plus, like if you watch last week's episode, you realize that this is a special month for us. You know what I mean? But, go back and watch that episode. We're not going to rehash that right now. Now, we then came to see Detective Pikachu from the Pokemon series. Now, what can I say about this film?
Well, starring Justice Smith and Ryan
No relation
Reynolds.
to the Smiths, by the way.
Yes, and Ryan Reynolds. Justice Smith from the show The Get Down on Netflix. Great show. And
Great
then,
show.
Ryan Reynolds as the character Deadpool, as well as like other great films.
You also know Justice Smith from Jurassic World.
Yeah,
we reviewed that last year when that came out.
Yeah.
And in that, he's a person that's a techie type dude, but he has, as a character, he has no agency. And unfortunately, the only character that we have seen Justice Smith play that had agency was in The Get Down.
Yep.
Right? Where he played an aspiring MC at the burgeoning in the beginning of hip hop in Bronx, New York. Okay? In this film, he plays a character again that has no agency, right? Now, arguably,
so what do you mean?
I'm getting to it. Arguably, the Pokemon series are about the different characters of Pokemon, Pikachus, etc., right?
Yeah, it was colorful and cute.
Colorful and cute, right?
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is, when it came time for him to show up to be heroic, where you thought that he would come through and be heroic, it just doesn't happen. It's certain scenes where you say boom, but it comes up, it's other people who are actually pushing the action along. He's just in the middle of it. You know what I mean? So it's not a great film.
He doesn't stand for anything when you say no agency.
When agency means that he would have came in and he would have been the catalyst to which caused the villain to end, right? And that's not quite who he is in this picture.
He was more like comic relief. Or?
He's the sidekick in this because
he's supposed to be the star.
Because the Pikachu is played by Ryan Reynolds, right? There's gonna be some spoilers.
Pikachu was adorable.
The Pikachu, here's a Pikachu who, usually you can't understand what he's saying. Whatever. But he's speaking in Ryan Reynolds. So let me say this first. If you like the Deadpool series 1 and 2, then you will like this film because it's basically Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool in the body of a Pikachu minus the cursing. Okay, so that's what this Detective Pikachu really is. Philly Mac, what's going on in Philly Mac? He just joined the watch party. What's going on,
Tell
Philly
your
Mac?
wife we said Happy Mother's Day.
That's right. So listen. You got your son on a motorbike, on a little miniature motorbike. Man, I always wanted those. You know, our generation always wanted, Generation X always wanted them go-karts and that, so you got it for him and he rolling around. And I saw you doing it, had him in the backyard riding a little motocross bike. I was like, go on, Philly. Giving him the best, you know what I mean? And, you know, expecting the best from him. You know, make his life easier than what our lives were before. That's what each generation is supposed to do. So anyway, all right, we go back to this. So, like I said, if you like Deadpool 1 and 2, then you'll like this because it's basically Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in the body of Pikachu minus the profanity.
Right.
Okay? That's one thing. So the comedy is there, boom, boom, boom. So
it's visually pretty, like the little color.
I mean, all of the anime and all of that is excellent. The CGI, beautifully done. Yeah. The storyline is supposed to be about a young man, which I don't really understand. They really didn't tell you how old he is. I don't know if he's in between 18 or 21. It's not really flushed out, but somewhere he's on his own somehow, and he's coming there because his father has been there was an accident, and his father is thought to be deceased. So he's coming there to figure out and finish out and close out, you know, the affairs of his father. And so he goes to the father's apartment, and then that's when he comes and sees this person who can talk. It's a talking Pikachu who's a detective, wearing a little detective hat and everything. And, you know, they start to, the first clue comes out with this R substance, right? That's the first clue to let you know that something's getting ready to go wrong, where it turns the Pokemon into raving, mad, monstrous type beings that want to destroy it. But anyway, so he goes through this, right? But then, so he's picking out clues, and every time he figures out something, you think that he's gonna take the mantle, right? And run with it. But then here comes, and he's really not interested though, right? It seems throughout the picture, because he really didn't know his dad. He had some kind of mental block there because his mother had passed, and his father, you know, went off to work, but wanted him to come stay with him, but he didn't want to go because if he cared, he would be here where we are now, right? Instead of going down to where into the main city where humans and Pokemon coexist together, right? So he goes through, and then all of a sudden this Pokemon, then the Pokemon, you've seen the previews, or the Pikachu says, hey, you know, I don't know what's going on, I can't really remember, but we're gonna figure this out. You know, this is Ryan Reynolds talking, right? And so he's going through, and then next thing you know, he's laying out clues and things, and then he almost has interest, but then he doesn't. But then a blonde-haired, blue-eyed reporter, well, she's an intern who wants to be a reporter. She comes up to him, and her name is the person who plays the character is Catherine Newton, right? So he's automatically smitten with her. So then all of a sudden he wants to go along and figure this out, and then that's when the movie really kicks off, right? But every time it's time to be brave, he's not able to do like she kicks down the door, he doesn't. She cuts the fence, he doesn't. He's going along for the ride. When it's time for him to get into some physical action, instead of being in physical action, he says, well, you know, it's not fair, but I don't mind punching somebody. And then they end up punching him. He drops down to the floor. It's just really ridiculous. This is a film going out to young children.
Yeah, and they see this black character who's supposed to be the star. Hello, hey Mark.
Hey, what's going on, Mark? Thanks for chiming in.
And he's supposed to be a star, and he's just like you said, no agency. He's
Jerome Mooch Harry chimed in too on the watch party. Philly Mac said, thumbs up 100. Haha. Yes, sir. And so listen. So here it is. you have to be very careful what you're feeding your children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're putting, unlike Miles Morales
and Spider-Man, who was a character, love his character.
Very agency. He's learning how to be, but he's always in the thick of it.
Right.
And when he takes that leap of faith,
right?
Go watch our review on the Spider-Man Inside the Spider-Verse, right? Yeah. When he takes that leap of faith, he becomes the greatest of all of the spiders. Right. So you have to go see that, right?
This one, they make this young black man look.
So you have to be careful what you're feeding, what they're feeding to the children. Yeah. They're feeding that you need someone else to do it for you. Yeah. See, it's very important. This is very important. What seems innocent, but just seems a character, because when they have a European American character, sooner or later that person comes from out of their weak state to be dominant, right? Yeah. But the way this was written, it was written for him to constantly be just the sidekick, the person who knows what's going on but cannot affect change. Yeah. And so that's what's very important about knowing about this film. When you're feeding this to your kids, you say, okay, we're going to see this because you want to see it, but know that you can do and can accomplish anything, because you're seeing yourself on the screen and they're showing you as basically a bumbling idiot, like they showed him in Jurassic World. Right? They showed him the same way in Jurassic World. That's two roles. The only one show them the Get Down. Show them the Get Down, or show them Miles Morales inside the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse.
That was
great film. A great film
for children to see.
Well done, right?
We walked out of this Pikachu movie not happy at all.
Not happy. It was not a happy occasion, because everything in it was there, but then when it came time for the person who is the
supposed to be
protagonist, he's not there. Now, here's the kicker, people. This is the spoiler. This is I have to say this because this is very important to say. You get to the end of the movie, and you've heard Ryan Reynolds' voice throughout the whole thing.
Right. As the Pikachu.
Here's this kid. Right. You saw the picture of his mama. She is a dark-skinned African woman with a low-cut afro. Okay. That's who she is, right? When it's all said and done, like they shown you all through. They show you like in holograms and flashback holograms about his father, but you never see his father. His father is a mystery to you. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna see this black guy. Right. Come to find out, Ryan Reynolds is his daddy. Ryan Reynolds is his zaddy. Okay? And you understand? So these are messages being pumped to you where they're telling you that, but they're telling you in so many terms that black people were not the first people on the planet, right? And they tell you that basically history started 6,000 years ago, and that, the European American or the European is the daddy, and this kid who could not affect change at all
in the film
was basically the son of the being who could, even in a little form, exact change. You see what I mean? So really, it should have been told differently, but basically it was told to say that, in my opinion, looking at it, black people don't have any agency and can't affect change.
How would you rate it?
And so, because of that, now I have to break it down in different levels.
Okay.
The CGI, human live action with the CGI action of the people, of the Pikachus and the Pokemon. Right. I'll get at 10. Okay. The story is flawed. Because of that reason, because they kept making him a buffoon. I got to give the storyline a 3 because at a certain point when you're in a detective story, even if it's a buddy story, both characters seem to arc.
Yeah.
The kid didn't arc.
All.
He just knew something. Just like Jurassic World, he knew something, but he didn't arc. So that's a 3. Or did I say 4? But I say 3. Okay. Which then brings you to the cinematography angles. That's 10. The through line of the stereotype, which is really bad, but the way that they wrote it in the stereotypical of black people, for that sinister way that they did it within a cartoon, within a children's movie to affect young minds, the sinister way that they did it, I'm going to get at a 10 because I can appreciate when people are trying to do crazy thing. When you decipher, you say, oh, that was ingenious the way they wove that narrative into the picture and made it seem like
it was innocent.
It was innocent, but it wasn't. Very, very shrewd indeed. I had to get that a 10. Overall, I have to give the film, for all those factors, I'm going to give the film a 5.
Okay.
And what would you rate it?
For everything you said, I would give it a 3. The animation was great. That's it. So I can't wait to get to this next documentary.
Okay, so that was that. So go see Detective Pikachu at your own risk.
No, go wait to come on Netflix or.
I would say no. I want you to tell because your kids are going to want to go see it, right?
Your kids to go
so
see it.
Kids don't understand. So you have to be able to instruct them in this to let them know what's going on, so they understand what the psychological game.
So if they go see it after the film, explain
what
to them
the trick or tick is.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
That don't believe what you saw in that character. Right. So, that's that. So, if you want to go see Deadpool 1 and 2 because there's agency of character in that whole film. In volume 2, there's a black character that pretty much saves the day. Yeah. Right?
Lucky.
So right. So who was considered unlucky but lucky, right? So under the circumstances. So go see this film. Go see Deadpool 1 and 2. Yeah. More than you will see that. Yeah. But then Deadpool 1 and 2 is profanity laced.
Yeah, but that's for adults.
That's for
see
adults.
It for yourself,
so see it for yourself. But for
take your kids to see Spider-Verse if they haven't.
Yeah. Get the Spider-Verse.
It's not in the theater anymore.
It's not in the theater anymore.
Netflix,
Unfortunately,
one
of
those. Yeah.
Okay, so we just finished reviewing Detective Pikachu, The Intruder. We talked about the Muhammad Ali. May 14th is coming out. My Name is Muhammad Ali by LeBron James, executive producer. We talked about moms, like we said before. Right. Hug your mom for me because our mom.
Happy Mother's Day to all moms.
May 15th, deadline to submit your music to the music review show for the May 30th second episode show of the music review. The film review music review show.
Now
then May 15th is also the Vaughan Mason.
Oh, great interview!
Exclusive interview where Vaughan Mason gives the formula on how to make a hit, most watched for musicians and artists. Now
he's the soundtrack to what? Just
to the skate era.
Yeah, hip hop
and the early 80s funk era, because while we were hearing Duran and things, we had people who were English like Malcolm McLaren, and then ADOS like himself, who were producing jams like Jammin' Big Guitar and Bounce Rock Skate Roll.
Yeah, it's a classic.
You know what I mean?
So it's a great interview.
You hear his songs and movies.
Great interview.
Right.
And speaking of like classics and legends, and we saw finally something good. You know, Intruder was great. Now we go to another great film, the Wu-Tang Clan of Mike's and Men documentary on Showtime.
No, on Netflix.
No, Showtime.
No, Showtime?
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Yeah.
Showtime? Okay, all the parts on Showtime. Okay,
Yep,
I thought it was
excellent.
Netflix.
Yep,
I've been
excellent
saying Netflix.
And the good thing is that the way they released it, you can watch like all episodes behind each other.
Yeah, that's real good.
Yeah,
that's real
excellent.
good.
Excellent.
So,
And director is Sasha Jenkins, a black director. He did an excellent job.
Mm-hmm. So listen,
Excellent.
my question is, as a people, well, I have to stop saying as a people. Just a side note here, you know, Tiffany Haddish was at the Met Ball, and she came dressed like the welfare queen that they made a big deal of in the 80s, and she had chicken in her purse. And she came out and I guess she was eating the chicken in the purse, and I have to say, and then they were talking about that she disrespects black culture by doing that because she's she's not all ADOS, American descendants of slavery. She's not total, she's half. The other half is African, and you know, traditionally, now that we know, most of the Africans coming up here now disrespect our culture and try to use it for their benefit, but other than that, disrespect.
Her
us,
father
right?
was Etrian.
Yeah. Same thing. See the total difference between
Her and
one that was a
Jesse.
refugee and one who came and was forward thinking and pro black thinking, thus producing a son or sons or offspring that believed in upward mobility for black people, period. Right? Different. So it's different thing. But my thing is, we talk about we as a group of people. Let me tell you something. Even Africans have tribalism. For goodness sakes, they got broke up by different colonizers and they gave them different languages, and so they have different countries that shouldn't be a continent but should be one country with states. And so they have all these different tribes, and within the country they have multiple tribes in there that don't get along, mostly because of light and dark skin, something that was done that way, and you believe this way, or I owned you as slaves and you're the slave class and I'm the upper richer class. And so when we talk about we as a group of people need to do something, or she needs to be held on, we have to stop, in my opinion. We should stop, in my opinion, saying that things that people do have anything to do with us as an individual or a collective whole. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if she chooses to do that, that's her standing on her own as whoever she is. That doesn't have anything to do with us. Hey, what's going on, James Foreman? Checking in. That has nothing to do with us as individuals. What she did, the Met Ball, dressing like the welfare queen, pulling chicken from out of her purse, right? We should stop saying that, because this person, let me tell you, when I stopped doing that was when Jesse Jackson had the kid from out of wedlock. You know how many years that was. Once I said that, I stopped saying, look what black people, what this black man did makes it bad for all black men, or it's a taint on all black men. Bullshit. Okay? It's not a taint on all black men. It's just that particular black dude did that. He just happens to be black, right? And so her doing that just so happened to be her doing that. That's what she wanted to do as an individual, enlightened or unlightened or whatever she wants to do. So stop putting that off on us. Which gets us back to, that was a little preface there to get back to the Wu-Tang situation. When are we again, everyone is an individual.
Right.
But when you come together as a collective whole of 9, right? 9 planets, right? When you come together and you see if all the planets, well, they say Pluto is no longer a planet, so it's 8 planets in this frozen rock, whatever. But let's just take the premise of the 9 planets revolving around the sun. One of these planets goes, then all the rest will naturally fall away because it's the gravitational pull. So if one is blown, all the rest will go. Common sense, gravity. Or in outer space it says there's no gravity, but there's a sense of symmetry in how things work. And if one thing is extracted out, then the rest will fall into disarray and crash into one another, right? So when will we, as a people who say that we believe in certain things that we believe in, when will we stop thinking that the grass, the money, the grass and the money is greener, the ice is colder, the water is colder, the living lifestyle is better? When will we stop doing that? Here are 9 people who came together, and the same story. It's the same story. If you hear the Cupid, pull back your bow, Sam Cooke. The Sam Cooke, if you hear the Sam Cooke story, or if you hear the Otis Redding story, or you hear the Jackson story, or you hear whomever, it's the same story when it comes to when money is starting to be made. If you believe that what a management is doing for you that happens to be European American is doing something for you so great, and they're getting their percentage, why wouldn't you want the black management that started you off not to get the same percentage of the money?
Right.
That's my thing, because I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there watching. I'm just sitting there watching, and this is what I saw. And then we're gonna go back and rewind and tell the story, right?
You have to see
but I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and I'm watching all the plans that the RZA's brother, who was the businessman,
Divine,
right?
Divine,
Divine. And I'm watching the business plans that he had of buying up the block and doing all that, right? Planning. But my opinion, when people got their money, they wanted to do something else with their money. They didn't want to believe in what the person's saying. But on the same other hand, somebody else will get in your ear, and that's not
everybody's
black,
ear,
or somebody that's black that's got somebody behind them that's European American, and then they'll go their way all day, but not come your way. Not the person who started you, right? You won't go their way, or a person who has an idea that can get you there. You won't go their way though. Right?
RZA did a great job getting everybody contracts.
Right. So excellent way. So here we are, and we're seeing this in the same old story. So when I'm seeing there and they're sitting there ironing out things, sitting at a dinner or something, I swear I see some European Americans sitting at the table eating along with them. Like, what is this? The new management?
And that was discussed, and in the previous episodes, how all of a sudden, when we used to be able to sit together as a family, each different, members, the management, needed to sit in on everything.
So my thing is, why do we have to, as a group of people, why do we feel better when there's an overseer sitting there? Honest to everything, it's the same old song. All around the world, the same song. It's the same old story, right? Of you sticking for a while, and then you start arguing over the pennies before the millions even come, and then because you argued over the pennies, then people are able to come in and extract you out, thus destroying the planets. orbit around the sun, then you all fall apart, and it's cool. It's cool, but it's not cool. Come together for the opportunity, but when the opportunity was big, you lost that opportunity. So then it becomes individual, because as history tells us, the European or the European American does not want a collective of black people coming together, sticking,
they did,
because
insert
that
themselves.
is the fear in which that is the fear that something will come out to be able to put black people globally around the planet, from wherever it germinates from, will put them in their rightful place as running the planet and cleaning up this destruction of the planet, and etc., etc., etc.
But what I love about this documentary is, first of all, I love the way it opens up, and then you're able to, like the first 2 episodes, because there's 9 members, right? So of course it's going to take 2 episodes, and the first 2 episodes you get to learn the background of each of the members, and you learn how they all became one unit, as Wu-Tang. And then I'll let you see the documentary. Some of you probably already knew.
Nikki Rich said, "Yes, I made it. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to Nikki
Happy
Rich."
Mother's Day. And it's just like to see. I didn't even know. Some of you may have already known, but I'm not gonna say nothing because you got to see the documentary. But 3 of them are family members, blood, right? So I didn't even know 3 of the members were like blood related, right? And then just to learn, like, they grew up together, like 5-6-year-old friends, and you just see it's like the roller coaster ride, like that they take in their careers and in personal relationships. And one thing, like they said, in the middle of, like, just like they said in any family, as brothers, who every now and then, may argue and get into it, when it's time, they come together as family.
Right, but it's detrimental because
it's a great documentary.
The arguing over money, when we experienced that before. We had a model. I had a program, people. The program works. We came in, produced these DVDs, model DVDs, and the models were able to go out there and sell the DVDs and make money. So we had a couple of models that really did good with the program, right? To sell it, people got out of traffic tickets, because they said, "Oh, you on that calendar, or you can go." But anyway, look, allegedly, I have to say.
And I think too, a lot of people was happy to see like a calendar that had like black women tastefully done and
artistic.
Nice, tastefully done, artistic.
Right.
These people who are in the calendar could show it to their family members and children, whatever. Just proud to see beautiful black women each month on a calendar.
Plus, it was the original Black Ice, and the original Black Ice told a story about a photo shoot and how it went awry, but it's talked about topics about good, bad hair, the N word, the B word, all that was in there. But anyway, so one model really did it real good.
Yeah, she did well.
And so I was bringing in my second string of models in to then perfect the program, because you knock out all the kinks and then you come in and you do that. So so she was there that day, and then now she's done well with it. And we're gonna get to why she would say this. And people don't take their own personal responsibility, which ties into the Wu, in my opinion. The Wu members, in my opinion. So I'm telling so we knew she did good, so we had her there, right? And so I don't know if it was because it was jealousy because the new set of models were coming in or whatever, but she stands
able
there.
To get cars and
So she sits there and tells the person, "Oh no, you don't really make any money, and they'll have you running around and doing this." So I'm thinking, you made great money at it. 1,
you were able to get a car.
2,
but no, I think it was because of the family members. They took her money. Remember?
Right. You chose to give your family members the money you made.
Yeah.
But instead of taking on personal responsibility for what you did, because people are suck you bushes, and they will suck from you everything and take everything from you, and then when you're in the lurch, they don't have anything for you, but they took what you had. So in taking personal responsibility and instead putting it on who actually had you spend all your money, you then put it on the organization and say that they had you running around and you really don't make no money, but you were making good money enough to get a car but you gave all your money away. You know what I'm saying? So then I look at that and I'm just shaking my head because, there are mistakes made. Maybe the way people speak, maybe the way they talk, the urgency in their voice or the loudness of their voice. There may be mistakes there. But when you create a plan where people can make money to sustain themselves, and then all of a sudden, because they, in my opinion, fuck the money off, then they turn back to you and say, you really didn't, you're that, they had you running around and doing all these different things, and you won't hardly have anyone. That's on you.
But it depends. Well, and then some people, you try to guide people because not everyone is fortunate to have. Speaking of Mother's Day, like mothers in their lives,
they would tell you to
or
save
grandmothers,
your money.
or aunts, or women in their lives to give them advice. Not everyone has that. But then when you give someone advice, and as far as go to school, do this, get your education, and there were those who listened and they followed the plan. It was 2 master's degrees, proud of them, and then you have those who just didn't want to listen, and it's like having children. That's why, like I said, sometimes, like my one friend I was talking about earlier, she was saying how she's a foster mother. No, it's just being there for the community, being a part of the community, helping guide the community, and so as a community, you try to help guide other people within the community who may not have mothers and aunts and to guide them. So as a woman to another woman, you try to give positive reinforcement and words of encouragement and help guide them on a straight narrow path. Not everyone can appreciate.
Hey, what's going on, Jermaine? Thanks for chiming in. So seeing that and being a person of organization and knowing how the plan actually worked, I could see in the Wu-Tang documentary of Mics and Men that the divine person, the brother,
RZA's brother, he had a plan.
Right, he had a plan. Right, and they, in my opinion, chose not to follow it. But then when the money was short, not because of something that he did, because he gave them their cut, he took his cut as management and gave them money. Once the money got short, just my opinion, is when they turned and then said that all of a sudden, I want. What did Ghostface Killer say in the documentary when they were having a meeting?
He was like, couldn't believe what he said to him.
If I get you $1 million deal, our agreement is I'm going to take 200 and you're going to get 800. He said, I want all of it.
And then I was just thinking, where they do that at?
Where do you do that
in any industry, the management, they have to get their percentage
because they're working on your behalf. He's working
hard. So why do you think that this man, and well, first of all, he got them a $4.7 million contract, remember? And to think that this man who fought and went out there and got you guys this contract, you get him nothing, that's just
you would want him to have nothing. He want all of it. But wait, the magical European American comes around, or the white person, whatever nationality or race or classification they are,
who came and took way more money.
They can come around and say, oh yeah, they can stroke the ego, and then next thing you know, they getting 20, 30, 40%.
Yeah.
Before it's over, they own your image.
Yeah.
They own your catalog.
Yeah.
And they own you, and you getting the 10%,
manager
and they
was-
get 90%. I don't
Whose manager
understand
was
that.
that I didn't like? He disrespected
Oh
RZA.
yeah,
Was that Old Dirty
oh
Bastard's
yeah.
manager?
Oh yeah. When Old Dirty Bastard comes from out of prison,
Right.
God bless the dead,
Yeah.
the passed on. When he got instead of staying with now this is showing you again, to me, my opinion, the point of not having gratitude for what was done for you. Okay. When he gets out of prison, because everyone was jumping ship, and like what I said about the planets.
Right.
Once one planet falls off, then the rest will fall off, because that's just the pull of the sun. And then when one falls off, it's symmetry, and then the symmetry is all, and thus everything will crash and fall off and burn, right?
Right.
In its original state. So when he gets out, he's heard that other people going, so he wants to leave. So when he gets out, he signs with, now RZA said he had $50 million for him, right, to do this album. He obviously didn't hear that. He turns around and signs with Rockefeller for $1 million, right? So he gets out, and it's $1 million. He was like, well, how come I can't? He's sitting there talking to his manager in the car, who is a white manager, right? And he's sitting there talking bad, to me, my opinion, looking at it, 'cause everything is on film.
Yeah.
It's amazing how they filmed everything. The good times, the bad times, the discourse, the harmony. They filmed
Excellent
everything.
documentary.
So they had all this footage, and they put it all together.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, how come everybody else leaving, but I can't? And the manager sitting there. So, same guy that he's sitting in the car with, when RZA comes in the room, he walks in with Dame Dash. And so the guy says, and who are you? And RZA says, you don't know my name?
Come on.
He said, oh, you're RZA. And then he goes, no. He was trying to. No, he didn't walk past him. He stood there looking befuddled, like, I can't believe this. But then he moved on,
like you're nobody.
Because they actually cut the scene. But he was sitting there like before, like, this dude is trying to be funny. He's trying to be a funny nigga. You know what I mean? But anyway, look, white dude trying to be a funny nigga. You know what I mean? So look, he says, oh, so instead of being straight with it, you being disrespectful. But all of a sudden you want to play, you're taller than what I thought. You know, because RZA is about my height. I'm 6'4". RZA's my height. Maybe an inch tall, maybe. But he was like, you're taller than what I thought. That's why I didn't You know, he's playing it off. That's some, in my opinion, punk shit. Yeah. Okay? That's punk whole shit, in my opinion. Yeah. Right? To play that off. People try to play you short like that, and they just make themselves look like suckers, because the film show look like suckers, right? So look. So he sits down, so the truth comes out that Old Dirty Bastard did not write his own rhymes. That
even
RZA,
after all of that, RZA takes the time to
because what happens is what they tell you in the documentary is even though they get these different deals and whatever, they still call on RZA to give them.
Well, first of all, who got them the deals?
No, wait a minute. I'm talking about after they break away and they new management get them deals.
Oh, other deals.
Right.
Okay.
RZA still comes in.
Okay.
And produces the body of work that makes the album what it is. Makes it a Wu-Tang.
He still had to step
collab. He still comes in. So he was sitting there showing Old Dirty Bastard how to write this. Now he was cool with it, even when Old Dirty Bastard said, I don't understand that. He said he looked over and he looked up over at somebody and said, do you understand that? And then the same person, I understood his voice to be the same guy. He said he says, oh yeah, that's like a 4-layer cake that you would put in the oven, and then that was the aspect of representing good puss, right? Yeah. And so then all of a sudden he could understand it after the European American said
he understood.
Oh, he understood it. Then he understood it. But before, when they were doing rhymes, my question is, what the fuck are you angry for? I mean, this goes past.
I was angry watching the documentary for RZA.
What I'm saying is, what the fuck are you angry for? This goes beyond the Wu-Tang Clan. What the fuck are you angry for with the person who gave you a fucking opportunity that you couldn't do for yourself?
Crazy.
What are you angry for?
Right. Crazy.
I mean, it makes no sense. What are you angry for when the person gave you an opportunity that you could not do, and they were fair with you and said that in this agreement, this is what this is going to be? What are you angry for? And why are you disloyal? Why are you disloyal?
And that scene right there made me like really feel for RZA, because I'm just like, you see in the scene he's helping Old Dirty Bastard, and Old Dirty Bastard is just being rude to him, and he's like literally writing. But he just takes it in slide. He just takes it in stride
because you know he's getting his fee. But now
as a writer,
just not, he getting his fee for a writer, and he getting his fee as the production guy.
Right.
And he's got his publishing coming on the tail end, so which makes him still make more.
Yeah.
Because he's the person who writes is the person who produces.
Right.
The person that understands the business of being the production arm of everything. It's the one that's going to make the majority of the money anyway. And so you face that the artist is only comes in. They may get publishing off of their copyright because they come in if they write their own lyrics. But if they don't, they just
making all the noise.
They just get a little money from off the advance after they paid for the studio time.
Right.
But after that,
but then you see him blowing all his money though.
Well, you know,
I mean,
he did have kids. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that he had kids to pay for. That's what he was saying. I mean, he had those children.
That part. I could see that when he was saying he needed money to go towards his kids. But when they showed scenes of Old Dirty Bastard doing other stuff with his money that had nothing to do with his kids, but then he's taking it out on RZA. But what I loved about, I mean, it's a good documentary. Like I'm glad that Method Man wasn't caught up in all that bullcrap. But Method Man is a writer, right? And he's a talent. So, you know, but I'm just glad Method wasn't caught up in all that bullcrap. But it's a really, really good documentary.
RZA orchestrated which labels they were.
That's what I'm saying.
He said, "Meth, you're going to Def Jam.
Yes.
Raekwon, you're going to Loud.
Right. The
Ghostface went to Elektra.
Right.
You know, so he knew where they were going. Now, wait a minute. Now, Elektra guy was talking. He said, "Well, where's Meth?" Mm-hmm. Oh, he said, "Oh, we got Meth going over to Def Jam."
Right.
They really wanted Method Man because arguably there's some they all are lyrical, but Method Man stands out. He's more of a universal type lyricist that can go in between different styles, kind of like Lauryn Hill was able to go through different styles, right? Yeah. And different styles of music, different verses, deliveries, all that. They can do that. Yeah. And so RZA, in my opinion, knew that Meth was the greater talent to go to the larger label brand that will take it.
And he knew that,
and that they were doing hip hop music, whereas Meth can do rap and hip hop music.
And Meth wrote, so he didn't have to hold him with kid strings.
Right. So when ODB, which they're all relatives, right?
Right.
When ODB
some
comes
of them, it's
out,
3.
they're all relatives. I'm saying. So when they come out, when he comes out and he does that, I mean, but they take it in stride. So it's nothing that really can be said about that. But in the end, the people around them didn't. The mother said they didn't even call didn't even call emergency to get people there to save
when Old Dirty Bastard passed out. The girlfriend or wife at the time of Old Dirty Bastard.
I didn't. The mother didn't say that, so I don't want to say that she was there. She said the assistant.
Well, it's also on Wendy Williams. So the wife or girlfriend called her and told her that something was wrong with Old Dirty Bastard. And the mother said, well, did you guys call an ambulance? Why are you calling me?
I think Wendy Williams might have gotten that wrong. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm going to say what I heard the mother say. Mm-hmm. She said the assistant called her because a person that's with you would know to call an emergency. Well,
what's his name? Jimi Hendrix?
No, but that was a whore.
Well,
that was a whore. That was just a whore. Because his girlfriend, we saw the documentary. His girlfriend was back in America. He was over there, and that was a European white woman who did not turn him over. We just saw that. We saw that in Bolden when they first introduced heroin back in the 1920s when they introduced heroin in. The lady of the evening went and got got the manager. Manager turned him over because heroin makes you throw up and it clogs up, and that's how Hendrix passed on. So all the woman had to do was turn him over, and he would have been still be alive today. So this is what we're saying, and this is what we're seeing here. So she said the assistant, so the people in the room, so maybe it was something there that if the authorities came, they would say it. So to me, it looked like, just me looking at it, they sacrificed this dude because they didn't want to all get in trouble. Not. Because they could have gotten the people there and he probably would have lived. Right? So this is what we see here in this piece. Now, that's what I take from the main thing. When will we, and that's my question, when will we stop, when we come together as a group of people, as a collective to do something, when will we stop looking at our brother like he's gonna do something wrong to us, but then in the end you go over there to the other and they do worse to you, and in the end they own your image, they own your publishing, they own your copyright, they own your brand, they end up owning everything, and you wind up with nothing. But yet your brother had a plan to buy up blocks, like E40 Water, bought up blocks, open up businesses, but you didn't want to come along and do that. So
he wanted to have, what was it, life insurance?
Life insurance had it all set up.
That would have came in handy.
But you didn't see the game. I remember when we went to New York. We went to go see a lawyer at the Avenue of Americas when I was in a rap group called Pitch Black. And we went to go see the lawyer, and I had it all typed up, planned it, because I'm planning. I say they need to come up, they need to give us health care, boom, boom, boom. She was like, well, they don't do that. And then the person that was rapping started laughing and said, yeah, I told you they don't do that. Nigga, don't turn against me in front of the people, nigga. I mean, do that shit is separately away, but this is the way it's supposed to be. It's the way it is supposed to be, because you are basically an employee of that company. Why should you, who brings all the joy and brings all the other people 401k, all the people who don't have talent, all they're doing is taking something that you could market yourself if you did it. If you just took a little time to learn the business side of it, you could do it. Here you do. You had the Wu-Tang corporation that could do the shit, and then do it. And so so I've seen this and experienced it firsthand when I come over to play, because it's the way it's supposed to be. Because why should an artist not be able to pay for healthcare after providing what has paid everybody else's healthcare, their kids through college?
I forget what R&B artist, and she was interviewed, and she had all of that set up in her contract. So it was.
Shani said, "Now I really know why RZA is definitely my favorite." Right? So we're sitting there watching it, and so that's what I took from out the documentary as I watched through it,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, just not being able to come to one accord.
Right.
You know, we have to stop
Yeah.
that, because in the end,
Yeah.
who owns what you do is very important. Ultimately, and when the end time comes for you as a person on this planet,
Yeah.
who owns what you are,
Right.
what your brand is, what you've done, is very important.
And then, like his brother, what did they made sure everyone would have homes and everything, right?
Right.
The first album, they made sure everything, like you said, they were like working the plan. The funny thing about it is, do you remember when you interviewed RZA years ago?
Yeah.
And
Matter of
he
fact, that
told
interview
you-
is up on Crazon Dion page, right below this. Right now, you can go right there and watch that. That's classic from '09. A lot of his philosophies on hip hop
Everything
is laid out in that interview. Because I don't talk fluff, I talk real.
And everything he said that he was gonna do,
He's done.
it's funny to see, you know, from his films and directing and just like the whole Wu-Tang, like the animation, comic book, like just like everything he said that he was gonna do. Like he's on some show now on FX or something. He's got a reoccurring role in the Shadows or something like that, a Netflix show. Like everything he said that he was gonna do, and that was years ago. He hadn't even
done it yet, but he said they made movies on wax and on cassette.
Right.
Why not make movies for real? Because it's played like a movie.
Right.
So now here it is. Now, so I mean, go watch that interview. It's very important because you know, when I ask people questions, I ask people to drill down to get the information that helps the next generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The clothing line, forgot about that. The Wu-Tang clothing, like everything he said that he wanted to do, he's done.
So go watch the documentary. You know, it starts from the germination from the beginning, all the way through when they had deals, individual deals before, to when they came together as the collective, and you know, run through it. But my question always is, what are you angry for? When the person brought you these opportunities that you couldn't do for yourself, and the person says, this is my percentage for doing this, and then all of a sudden you don't have no trouble giving the other man the percentage, but for some reason the same people that your skin can, you got problems. It's supposed to work for free. I don't understand.
But the great thing is just like during the documentary, like they're all sitting together, right, talking about the documentary and their lives, and you're watching the documentary. Great, because you know at the end, other than Old Dirty Bastard, because you know we know he passed away, but they're all together at the end of the documentary, and then they'll continue, like they said, they're a family. They'll continue to work together and go on tour together.
But if it's one thing that the documentary should teach young artists is when there's a plan, stick out that plan. Because if they had stuck the plan instead of breaking up within 10 to 15, breaking apart, but still coming together for things, but breaking apart as the nucleus at 10 to 12 years in. If they had stayed that whole 25, they would have been more. All of them would have been more richer, more prosperous. Would have bought up all of Staten Island. They would have bought up all those properties.
Because that was the plan.
That was the plan. And so Philly Mac joined again. Thanks, Philly Mac, for joining back in. So that's it. So go watch. So the footage from the past, being able to collect all the footage from all the different sources they did. That's a 10, well put together.
I like that they didn't hold back. Like they put everything out there in their documentary, the good, the bad, the ugly.
And they all had to set. They all sat there watching the cut to be able to comment, and it's beautifully done. And they had to take it. It was like how New Edition said when they went to go read the script, when they took a weekend to go read the script, and they found out things from different people's sides that they didn't know anything about. They made that docudrama on BET, right? It's the same thing here. They found out what the real plan. Maybe they didn't even know what the real plan was, but they finally saw the real plan. So it's really, and then to see them, when you see them, and then you don't see black photographers. You see European American photographers. You don't see black artists drawing. You see European American artists drawing. When you see, like, why do we break away from something when it's supposed to be a black art form created by black people? The money is supposed to circulate, but somehow we are so inclusive that we let everybody else in, and in the end they say it's them that did it. It's ridiculous. So, you know, go see the documentary. The cinematography beautifully done.
Certain scenes, the way they bring in the images,
the sound quality of the music, of reproducing the live stage shows, and producing when they were on the radio during that time, because a lot of that is on cassette. It can be scratchy. It was clear,
crystal clear.
The picture crystal clear out of all of it, going from 4:3 to 16:9, beautifully done. Just a beautiful piece overall that tells a true story that can lead into telling, lead into a movie. You know what I mean? So, and it's all, and what was so ingenious, what was so spectacular is they taped it all, good or bad. You know, Discourse or Jubilee, they kept it real. They had filmed it all over the years, so they had it to be able to tell a full story. So go watch that documentary. It's well done. You can see it right behind each other, and not have to worry about it. So,
I mean, that's the best documentary I've seen, like, in a long time.
Yeah, so
real good.
So, you know,
I don't think any other artists, I'll be surprised, but I don't think anybody will do as good of a documentary as what they did, because they didn't try to clean it up. It wasn't about, let's hurry clean shit up and make it nice and shiny. The documentary showed exactly, like, for what it was and what was going on in their lives, and they captured all of this footage, and like we said, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. All the truth, all of it was put out on the table. The different point of views from each member. They talked to, you know, they were able to speak and get their point of view, and you see all of this footage, like, well done. Because most of the time, the celebrities, they try to make everything look all nice and clean and shiny. They didn't do that. They told the truth. It's an excellent documentary.
They told the truth.
I don't know if we'll see any other documentary like this.
And it showed that as a collective whole, they have agency, and as individuals, they had their own agency. You know what I mean? So it's well worth seeing. So what would you give it?
Oh, please, a 10. 10 plus.
Yeah. I give it a 10 too. So this has been another great episode of the Film Review, Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, and Society. We are the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
I'm Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And we will see you next time on the Film Review.
Have a good.
This is another great episode of the Film Review. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. Stay tuned. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And this is the Film Review. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about. We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. This is the Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
I'm Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. Sunday at 5:30 on Crazon Dion page on Facebook. Live stream. The Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. This is the Film Review.